high cost of animal farming in Ghana has deterred a lot of animal farmers from actually farming. And the high cost of farming in animal farming is generally directed towards the cost of feed in particular. A lot of farmers have been discouraged. A lot of people have closed down from 2020 down the line. And that was generally because a lot of people couldn't afford the feed or the traditional feed that we buy. As animal farmers, it's always important that you have food for your animals. Now, I have been able to discover a particular crop that does well in Ghana, it grows very well in Ghana, and has the high productivity returns for farmers. What do I say? This would be geared towards more into those who rear goats, cattle, sheep, rabbits, and particularly grass cutters. I have in my background a plant called Sunn hemp. Now, Sunn hemp is a crop that is not traditionally grown in Ghana. It's a foreign crop that we have been able to identify and we are now growing in Ghana. Let me give you a little background about Sunn hemp. Sunn hemp is a highly nutritious crop. It's a legume, to be precise, a legume, and it grows in good conditions. It loves the sun. If your soil is poor, it will still grow. You don't have to fertilize this crop, they will still do well. What is it benefits to farmers, animal farmers? The protein content of this crop is between 18 to 30%. It's mostly highly contributing in protein and a lot of fiber. If you have this crop, you are feeding this crop to your goats in particular, you would see them have effect in a week. If you are struggling to get them to grow big, this crop would actually help you. All ruminants have a particular leaves they like. When it comes to cattle prefers grass. If you come to sheep prefer a lot of grass. But if you come to goats like leaves and shrubs. So if you are raising goats, I would entreat you to pay attention to this particular crop. I will do a series of videos showing you the benefits of this particular crop called Sunn hemp. Now, Sunn hemp, I have successfully been able to grow. You can see these ones are probably 34 days old. You can see the height now, they are about 4 feet tall now. And I have quite a large plantation here and it has been successfully grown. These crops like the sun, they love the sun. And you can probably harvest them from 35 days onwards. It's best to harvest them within 40 days. Those times you can get them in the highest of the protein. Stay tuned. I would have a series of talk about Sunn hemp and how to grow Sunn hemp. Someone might ask, this crop, do I have to keep buying seeds to be able to get these crops? And the good news is Sunn hemp is actually a perennial, which means if you cut them and you give it water, it will grow back. And as I mentioned, the harvesting period for this particular crop from sowing goes as short as 35 days upwards. You can even harvest these crops when they are 30 days old. However, these crops must not be harvested when they are flowering. For example, Sunn hemp has seeds that are very poisonous to animals. So harvesting crops with these seeds on, they are discouraged. Sunn hemp is really beneficial in terms of giving you feed for your animals. You can grow enough, very dense on your land, and you have them giving you wonderful feedback. If you want to know more, stay tuned and I'll show you more. If this is your first time, you are welcome to my channel. But most of you here know me as Veggie Father, because when it comes to vegetable farming or plant farming, you can always come in. Now, this is why I took my time to find a particular crop that I can raise to support my animal farmers. And what most of you don't know is I'm also an animal farmer. I've never actually publicized it, but today is the first time I'm telling you I'm also an animal farmer. And that is why I also felt the struggle of growing feed for your animals. This particular crop, Sunn hemp, would help you reduce your stress on feed, because imagine harvesting a crop and after 30 days you get to harvest again. Now you can bale this crop as hay, or you can dry them and feed them as dry hay, right? If you use this to feed your grass cutters, your rabbits, your goats, and most especially your goats. I love goats, most especially your goats. They would love this crop. They would benefit more because it's highly nutritious. And I have grown a lot of forages, and I can tell you this is the best you can find in the market. I have grown another legume called alfalfa, which is highly stressful to grow, but I have successfully grown them in Ghana commercially. I've grown clovers, and I've grown bracharia, mulatto, siambaza. I've grown almost all the varieties. Currently, I even have on the field Piper Sudan grass and South Sudan. We have, if you talk about forages, I've grown enough to be able to tell you that Sunn hemp is the king of them all. And now we have been able to test them in Ghana for the first time to see they do very well in Ghana. And as at that, it's a good news for animal farmers. Now, these crops I have in my background are just 34 days old. Imagine harvesting these at 45 days. This will look probably around 7 feet tall, which is enough to be able to feed probably 100 goats for a month. If you don't like this, I don't know what is going to help you anymore. This is Sunn hemp, the king of all.